Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I am back to announce the books that we are going to be reading in the I Should Have Read That book club for November and December. So hopefully you do already know that I co-host a book club each month along with Shannon at 155 Books and Caris over at Caris's Corner. And our goal is really to push anybody who wants to join to read some of those books that you've always been meaning to read but for whatever reason just haven't picked up yet, whether or not they are classic books that have been discussed for centuries or whether or not they are recently published things that have just had quite a lot of hype about them. And that's basically how we pick our books. We alternate each month between a classic one month and then a new or hyped book the next month. We started the I Should Have Read That book club back in August where we were reading Coynie by Candice Carty-Williams, and then just now in September we've been reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, the live show for which was on my channel and I will link down below. Now we're in October and we are back to reading a recently published hyped book, and for that we are reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And yes, I do have the stunning new edition for the 10th anniversary because of course I had to have this in my life. Just look how pretty it is, and oh, I didn't get the beautiful signed copies, but still, like, these end papers are gorgeous. There's an essay right at the beginning of the book that Madeline Miller wrote to commemorate the 10th anniversary, and yes, safe to say I'm having a great time rereading this. The book picks for the first 3 months was chosen by Shannon over at 155 Books because she was the one who initially came up with the idea for this book club, so it was only right that she picked the first books, picking those hyped or classic books that for whatever reason she had not yet read. And then when she asked me if I wanted to be the co-host, she asked if I could pick the November and December books, and that's what I'm here to announce today. And kind of naughtily, I have chosen books that I have read already, but I just had a hankering to reread these two books, and I think they fit pretty well into books that lots of people feel like they should read but for whatever reason might not have picked them up yet. I promise you that when we get to Caris's picks there are going to be things that I have not yet read, and next time that my turn comes around to pick books I'm definitely going to be picking books that I haven't read yet. Naughty me. Hold me to that promise. But I am very happy to announce that my pick for November is going to be The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a book that I believe I read back in 2018, 2019, and I've really been wanting to reread this basically ever since last year when I did my recommendations for classic books that you could read as a beginner. I reread the first couple of pages of Dorian Gray in anticipation of that video and I was just captivated by the language. I already knew that I liked Picture of Dorian Gray, but I was just so taken by it that I was like, one day I need to pick this up again. And like I say, I think this is a brilliant book to read if you are a beginner to classics, so I thought this would be a great pick for this book club. The Picture of Dorian Gray was originally published in 1890 and tells the story of the beautiful but vain Dorian Gray who commissions his painting and grows very disheartened by the fact that he knows that he is going to grow old whilst his picture will stay young and beautiful forever, and wishing against hope that the reverse could be true. And I'm not going to spoil too much aside from that, but things get pretty dark pretty quickly, and it's definitely a case of be careful what you wish for. I really wanted for November to pick a classic book that had a very eerie, creepy atmosphere, a book that had characters who were morally dubious, and I feel like this definitely hits the prompt there. And then lastly for December, the book that I have chosen to be our final pick for 2021 is one that you know already that I already love, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. This was a book that I read at the beginning of this year and absolutely adored. I think at the moment it is definitely up there, if not already the best book that I've read so far this year, definitely the best fiction book anyway. And the kind of selfish reason that I have chosen this book to be our final pick for the I Should Have Read That book club, at least for 2021, is that I want to verify whether or not this is in fact my favourite book of this year. And I thought, you know, read it at the end of the year and then I can assess it amongst all of the other books that I've read, and yeah, and then hopefully we will have a very accurate best books of 2021 to look forward to. I also thought in my head it's got quite a wintry vibe, it's kind of dark, it gets a little bit eerie in some places and supernatural. I know I have recounted the synopsis for Addie LaRue many a time, I've probably bored you all at this point, but do indulge me once more. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue initially takes place in 18th century France, where we meet a young girl in her 20s, Adeline LaRue, who is being married off to a man that she doesn't know and doesn't love, and she is desperate to get out of this because she has seen the effects of marriage and childbirth on the other female members of her town, and she just knows that if she is forced to marry this man that she is not going to to live the life she wants, and that she's constantly going to be trapped in her small little town and never see any of the world or do what she wants to do. So on the evening of her wedding, she runs away from home, her father in pursuit behind her, and she breaks down in the middle of a field and prays to all of the gods, begging them to please, please give me some sort of freedom, give me a way out. And a voice calls out to Addie and makes a deal with her, giving her the opportunity to not be accountable to anybody. And not only that, but she can live for as long as she wants to. There is a little bit of back and forth as to whether or not she can live forever or only to a certain amount of time, but they do settle upon the idea that she can choose when she no longer wants to live. And Addie does indeed strike the deal with this voice, not realizing that the sun has gone down and remembering only when it is too late that her grandmother had always told her never to pray to the gods after the dark, because the gods of the night are very different from the ones of the day and are much trickier. And it is not long before Addie realizes that she has been cursed by this devil. Yes, she does have this conditional eternal life. Yes, she no longer has to be accountable to anybody, but the price that this has come at is that nobody remembers Addie. None of her family, none of her friends, and even if they were to strike a conversation with her, by the time they've turned around and looked back at her, they've forgotten who she is. And we're following Addie through the centuries as this curse takes a toll on her and takes a toll on how she can live her life. I'm very aware the synopsis I have given for this is way outweighed the one that I gave for Picture of Dorian Gray, but I do think they are both fantastic books and I'm very much looking forward to reading them. Do let me know if you are going to be participating in the I Should Have Read That book club. I'm not quite sure yet who is going to be hosting each of the live shows for these two books. I imagine since the Song of Achilles one is going to be hosted on Karis's channel, that probably is going to be me and Shannon who divvy up these two books. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to reading them and hearing your thoughts about them. I think fortuitously we're quite lucky that the new 1 year edition of Addie LaRue is going to be coming out around this time. I'll insert a picture of that here. I don't know if I'm going to be picking up a copy because I do already have one, and it feels a little bit odd that they're doing it for the 1 year anniversary. Like the Song of Achilles one, I can kind of make sense on because this has been 10 years of this book and it's had such a major impact. But I don't know, maybe when I see Addie LaRue in a shop, I might break down and pick it up. So that's everything for today. Like I say, let me know if you've read these books before and if you are planning on participating with the book club these 2 months, or any other suggestions for books that we might like to choose in the future, either classic or recently published hyped books. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic day and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.